and we had to find out this angle here. So what I'm going to do now here is that I will consider this triangle, red triangle, the triangle outlined in red, and I'm going to find out this angle, and I will also consider this blue outline triangle. Okay, and I'm going to find out this angle, and therefore when I add the two angles, we'll get the unknown angle. So this angle here is 100 minus, say if I call this angle x, then this angle is also x. That means this is 100 minus uh, then from here you can write 100 plus 2x must be equal to 180. So therefore x must be equal to 180 minus 100 divided by 2, which is 40. So we have got this angle to be 40 degree. Now if I call this angle to be y, then this angle will also be y, because this is also an isosceles triangle. These two radii are equal. Therefore these two angles must be equal. So if I call these two angles as y, similarly y will be equal to 180 minus 140 divided by 2, which is 20. So therefore the unknown angle here, angle ZXY, will be angle ZXY will be equal to x plus y, which is equal to 40 plus 20, equal to 60 degree. That's it. Okay. Let's move on to the next part. Next problem here. In the figure given below, diameter AB and chord CD of a circle intersect or meet at P. So you have the diameter AB here. This is the diameter. And you have a chord CD. When diameter AB is produced and chord CD is produced, they meet at point P. PT is a tangent to the circle at T. So you have this point of contact T. PT is a tangent. Okay. CD is equal to 7.8. So this length is given to you as 7.8 centimeters. PD is given to you as 5 centimeters. So this is 5 centimeters. PB is 4 centimeters. So this length is 4 centimeters. First question is calculate the length of, find the length of AB. Now AB is your the diameter. Okay, so how to find out the length of AB? Now you know that diameter is also a chord, right? It is the largest chord in a circle. And if you see AB produce meet at P and CD produce meet at P, that means AB is a chord which is also a diameter. CD is a chord which meets at P. Now, there, if you remember, there was a theorem where uh, if two chords intersect internally or externally, then the product of the length of the segments must be equal. So therefore, if AB is a chord and CD is a chord, then the product of the length of the segment must be equal. That means the first segment from the point of intersection you will consider, from the point of intersection till A, PA, into the next point is B, so PA into PB must be equal to product of the other segment also, PC into PD. Okay. So now we shall just put the values. PA is given is if I say PA is PB is 4 centimeters. Let's put the value of PA. Let me write as it is. Then we put the value of PB. PC is 7.8 plus 5, right? Because CD is 7.8 and PD is 5 and PD is 5. So now from here I can find out the length of PA. So PA into 4 is equal to 12.8 into 5. So 4 PA must be equal to 64. That means PA must be equal to 64 by 16 centimeters is the length of PA. Now we don't need the length of PA. In fact, we need the length of AB. So if the entire length PA is 16 centimeter, and if this length is 4 centimeter, then therefore what must not be AB? AB must be equal to 16 minus 4, which is 12 centimeters. That's it. Okay. Next, the length of PT. Now, the last theorem that I discussed, if you remember, that if a chord and a tangent intersect, then the square of the length of the tangent must be equal to product of the length of the segment of the chords, right? So therefore, from that theorem, I can write, since see that PT is a tangent and CD is a chord. This is a chord, and this length is a tangent, length of the tangent, and they intersect at P. So therefore, what can I write? I can write PT square, square of the length of the tangent, must be equal to product of the length of the segments of the chord. That means PC into PD. So that means PC is here is again 7.8 plus 5 into PD. PD is 5. That means 12.8 into 5, which is 64. That means PT is square root of 64, which is 8 centimeters. As simple as that. Okay. So this was a very straightforward problem. If two chords intersect, or if a tangent and a chord intersect, then you can directly apply the theorem. Next problem is here in the given figure, CBA is a second. So CBA, yes, it is a second. And CD is a tangent to the circle. So CD here is a tangent to the circle. If AB is equal to 7 centimeters, so this length is given to you 7 centimeters. BC is 9 centimeters. This length is 9 centimeters. Then prove that triangle ACD is similar to triangle DCB. So let's see which triangle they are talking about. Triangle ACD. ACD means this triangle. They're talking about this triangle, and they're talking about DCB. DCB is this triangle. We need to show that these two triangles are similar. That is the first question. So how will you show? Now, first of all, you see that this is the common angle here, right, of the two triangles. So that is done. Also, what you see here is that a chord and a tangent, they intersect, isn't it? CD is a tangent. See, this is a tangent, and a chord, AD, they intersect. That means whenever a chord and a tangent intersect, not this, sorry, BD is a chord that intersects. In fact, AD is also a chord, no problem. There are two chords that intersect the tangent at the point D. And wherever a chord and a tangent they intersect, what comes to your mind? Angles in alternate segments. So what is the first angle in the alternate segment? The first angle is that angle which the chord makes with the tangent. So this is your angle in the minor segment. Okay. And what is the angle in the major segment? The angle on this chord PD will be the angle in the major segment. So this angle here is in the major segment. So these two angles must be equal because they are angles in alternate segments. So what is the third angle that is left? Now, if you see two angles, I have already shown that they are equal in the two triangles. That means they must be similar. So that means in triangle ACD and DCB, angle C is equal to angle C, common angle, and angle DAC must be equal to angle BDC, because angles in alternate segments are equal. Therefore, triangle ACD is similar to triangle DCB. That's it. So first part is over. Similarity. Next, you need to find the length of the chord CD. That means you need to find out this length here, chord CD. Now again, you see that there is a tangent and a chord that intersect each other. CD is a tangent, right? Which you have to find out the length, right? And the chord intersect, which is the chord AB is a chord. This AB, if you see, AB is a chord which when produced intersect at C. So when a tangent and a chord intersect each other, then what can I say about the length of the tangent? Then I can directly write the square of the length of the tangent must be equal to product of the length of the segments of the chord. That means CD square must be equal to CA into CB. Okay, so that will give us our length of CD. Second part of the question. CA here is 9 plus 7 and CB here is 9. So this is 16 into 9, which is 4 into 3 square. That means CD square root of 4 into 3 square, which is 4 into 3, which is 12. That's it. Okay. So the only part here was to realize that the angles were in alternate segments. Otherwise, the proof was very easy. Now, what I have done here is I have written the proportional sides, and I actually have derived the theorem that I have used directly. CD square is equal to 9 into 16. Okay, you can write this directly. No problem. CD square is equal to 9 into 16. You can write this directly as I have done here. CD square is equal to CA into CB. This way. You don't have to write sides of proportion and all that. And you have number 15. And I think 15 is the last question that I want to discuss today. I will not discuss 16 and 17 because because 16 and 17 are very specialized problems. Okay, if I get time to revise, I'll discuss 16 and 17 also. If first you give your exam with till your problem number 15. The question here is, in the figure given below, A, B, and C are 3 points on a circle. Okay, so let's see. This is your point A, this is your point B, and this is your point C. Are 3 points on a circle. The tangent at C meets BA produced. So you have the point of contact C, and you have a tangent drawn at C, and BA is also produced to meet at T. So CT is a tangent, and BA is a chord, and they meet at the point T. Given that angle ATC is 36, so this angle here is 36. ACT is 48. So this is 48. Calculate the angle subtended by AB at the center of the circle. You need to calculate the angle subtended by this chord AB at the center of the circle. So I start by saying let O be the center of the circle. Okay. Suppose O is the center of the circle. Then what is the angle subtended by the chord AB at the center? This is the angle subtended by the chord AB at the center of the circle. Okay. Also what I do here is I join B and C. Okay. So what I do is I say let O be the center of the circle, join OA and OB and BC. These three I have joined. Now what do I have to calculate? Yeah, I have to calculate the angle subtended by the chord AB at the center of the circle. That means I will have to calculate this angle here. Okay. So how should I go about calculating this angle? First of all, what you realize here is that there is a chord and a tangent that intersect. If you see AC is a chord and you have a tangent, CT, they intersect. And whenever a chord and a tangent intersect, the first thing that comes to your mind is angles in alternate segments. So we'll find out which angle is in which segment. The angle between the chord and the tangent will be the angle in the minor segment. This 48 degrees is the angle in the minor segment. And any other angle that is subtended by this chord CA on the major segment will be angle in the alternate segment. So if you see this angle here is also 48 degrees. This entire angle, because they are angles in alternate segments. Okay. Next, what you also see here is that this angle here is the exterior angle of this triangle ACT. ACT is the exterior angle of this triangle. That means this angle, this exterior angle must be equal to sum of two interior opposite angles, 48 plus 36. So this angle must be the sum of 48 and 36, which is 84. Okay. So now what have you got? Now if you see in this triangle here, ABC, in this triangle here, you know two angles, 48 and 84. That means you can calculate the third angle here. Okay. That means if you calculate the third angle here, this is 180 minus 48 minus 84. Okay, it will come to 48 degrees. Okay. So once you get all three angles of this triangle, we are going to use this 48 degree to find our angle subtended by the chord AB at the center, the angle that I have marked in red. Now, if you see this 48 degree angle that I just found here, this angle is on this arc. Okay. This arc and this angle 48 degree is subtended on the remaining part of the circle. Which one is the corresponding angle subtended by the same arc AB at the center? This angle that we need to find out. Red one. So therefore this angle here, red angle, will be 48 into 2, which is 96. That's it. That is your answer. Okay. I just review this problem once again. I start by saying let O be the center of the circle, and I join OA and OB and BC. So these three lines I have joined. We need to calculate the angle subtended by AB at the center. So this is the angle that I need to calculate. Angle BOA I need to calculate. Now see here that I see a chord AC and I see a tangent CT, they intersect. So when they intersect, I must have some angles in alternate segment. Which ones are the angles in alternate segments? First of all, the angle in the first segment will be the angle between the chord and the tangent, which I find it to be 48 degrees. So now 48 degree is angle in the minor segment. Which one is the angle in the major segment? On the chord AC, any angle that you have in the other segment will be angles in the alternate segment. So on the chord AC, you see this angle here. This angle will be in angle in the major segment. They must be equal because the angles in alternate segments are equal. So I've got this angle. Now also, now if you consider triangle ACT, this This triangle, if you consider, this is the exterior angle of this triangle. And you know that the exterior angle of a triangle must be equal to sum of two interior opposite angles. So therefore, this angle here must be equal to sum of 48 and 36. The two interior opposite angles. This angle and this angle is interior and opposite to the angle that we are finding here, angle BAC. So this should come to 84 degrees. Now you consider angle ABC, this triangle here. This triangle that you consider here, in this triangle, you see that you know two angles, 48 and 84. So you can calculate the third angle. Okay, third angle you calculate this to be 48 degree. Now once you get this angle, you see that this angle 48 degree is subtended by this chord AB on the remaining part of the circle. Therefore, what should be the angle subtended at the center? This should be 48 into 2, double the angle subtended on the remaining part, which is 90/60. That's it. Okay. So I'll conclude this chapter here, circles, and the last two chapters, as I told you, are very specialized problems. So I'm not going to discuss these two problems. But before leaving, I'll just leave you with the formula on median. Okay, median and quartiles. So we'll start the median. In class 9, you have already done a little bit of median. That is median for a given a given set of observations. You know that median is n plus 1 by 2th observation if n is odd. Last year we have done this formula, if you remember. And if n is even, then it is n by 2th plus n by 2 plus 1th n by 2th observation plus n by 2 plus 1th observation, all of this divided by 2 if n is even. Okay, so this formula we have already done. Remember this for n is odd, if n is odd, and for if n is even. Now what I introduced to you is the lower quartile, also denoted by q1. Lower quartile for a given set of observations is n by 4th observation. If normally what happens is that whether n is odd or even, we take n by 4 only. We don't take n plus 1 by 4. In the textbook they have given you lower quartile q1 is equal to n plus 1 by 4, but actually we don't take. So you can remember one formula only, that will be sufficient. Lower quartile q1 is equal to n by 4th observation. Okay, upper quartile q3 is equal to 3n by 4th observation. Okay, also remember that median is sometimes called as the second quartile, or this is also called as the first quartile. Lower quartile is also called as the first quartile. This is also called as the third quartile. Median is sometimes referred to as the second quartile. As second quartile, Q2. Okay. So remember, Median, lower quartile, upper quartile. Sometimes median is also called as the second quartile or the middle quartile. We now define what is called as the interquartile range. The interquartile range is Q3 minus Q1. We also define as the semi-interquartile range as Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2. Okay. So I'll stop here for today.